Hello, dear viewers, and I'm glad to see you again on Football Planet, your football news program on your Pan-African channel, Africanews. Coming up. Confusion is still prevailing over the African Cup of Nations. The Ivorian Football Federation is unhappy with the Confederation of African Football, CAF, as it appeals to the Court of Arbitration for Sports against a decision by CAF to withdraw its hosting rights for CAN 2021 in favor of Cameroon. Also coming up, Senegal retains its best soccer title. The Teranga Lions beats Nigeria again in the African Cup of Nations final. It's their fourth title in this tournament. And a return to Africa, Alain Gire is the new coach of Tunisia. The retired French international footballer is our guest. He tells us about his ambitions as coach of the Eagles of Carthage. All this and more shortly. Welcome to Football Planet. The crisis at the African Cup of Nations is far from over. Ivorians are angry about a decision by CAF to withdraw its hosting rights for CAN 2021. The Ivorian Football Federation has finally appealed to the Court of Arbitration for Sports to challenge this move. Bridget Ugwe and Hawawu Suleiman have the details.
Faced by CAS intransigence, Cote d'Ivoire decided to throw its cards. And this last resort is the Court of Arbitration for Sports, which the Ivorian Football Federation has been challenging since 13 December against the decision to remove it from the organization of the CAN 2021. In a press release, the FIF expressed surprise about the approach of the CAF president, stating to decide by sole authority and without any prior consultation to relocate the organization of the CAN 2021 to Cameroon, and the federal authority to highlight the heavy economic, financial and human investment that this competition, which is of great importance for Ivorian football, represents. For the time being, CAF is sticking to its position that the country will not be ready in 2021. This is refuted by the Ivorian authorities, who have embarked on a battle that has somewhat damaged CAF's image and of which Cameroon is undoubtedly the only winner.
We will continue to keep an eye on the story. Meanwhile, work is ongoing for the organization of the next edition, which Cameroon lost rights to host. The AFCON 2019 will either be played in South Africa or Egypt, the only candidates to host the tournament next June. The winner will be announced on January the 9th in the car on the sidelines of the CAF Awards ceremony. One of the highlights of this event will be the African Golden Ball Awards, whose list of finalists was announced on Friday. And once again, Egyptian Mohamed Salah is the favorite ahead of his Liverpool teammate, Senegalese Sadio Mane. Best coach, best player or best team of the year will also be recognized. Winners will be announced on January the 8th. Let's talk about the Under-20 African Cup of Nations, which was drawn on Thursday in Niamey, Niger. Group B comprises of Burkina Faso, Ghana, Mali and Senegal. The host country will have a lot to do ahead of South Africa, Burundi and Nigeria, as you can see on this table. This Junior CAN is scheduled from February the 2nd to 17th. As I told you earlier, Alain Gire is the new coach of the Tunisian national team. The retired French international footballer has an initial 18-month renewable contract to mark his return to the continent. He's already coached Gabon, Senegal and Mali. Gire joins us on the line. Thank you, coach, for granting us this interview. First, what motivated your choice for Tunisia?
The first motivation was that I wanted a project to take over a selection in particular and to continue to work on the African continent. So after the prospects that arose, the opportunities that exist, these are the contacts that are being established, and therefore it is becoming a reality with Tunisia.
So will your work be in line with that of your predecessor or not?
But not every coach comes with his philosophy, his principles. And of course, after that, you have to take the team into account. In conditions, you take it. As I was saying, I have had teams to build and rebuild in the past. In this case, it is a team that has a base already, that has its backbone. So here we will have to take this into account and then make it complete so I could make it evolve, make it progress.
In your opinion, what does the team lack?
For the time being, I will look into it. I think that we are always the same in realism about defensive rigor and offensive effectiveness. My arrival has found this compromise that makes it possible to reach, to give the elements that make it possible to cross this level.
You've signed an 18-month contract, so what are your objectives?
Well, the objective in AFCON are the objective of finally reaching the quarterfinals, a level of competition that Tunisia has not yet been able to achieve since 2004. This is a perspective that we have set ourselves to be able to realize at AFCON.
Do you think they are achievable, given that it's been a long time since Tunisia has been able to realize its full potential?
But anyway, if we start from the beginning and say that it is not visible at all, it is not even worth trying to achieve them. So when we start on the objectives, on the project, we say to ourselves, yes, we can evaluate the team and the possibilities of saying to ourselves that it stops in the realizable field. Indeed, when you are in Tunisia, you can say that afterward we know well the circumstance of a competition, whether or not these objectives are modified.
Thank you very much, Alain Gire, and good luck to you for this new adventure with Tunisia.
Thank you very much.
Alain Gire there is the new coach of the Eagles of Carthage. Now, let's talk about beach soccer in Senegal, which is making history. The Teranga Lions have strengthened their position as leaders in the discipline on the continent by winning the African Cup of Nations for the 4th time. They beat Nigeria in the final with a 6-1 scoreline in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt on Friday. Here's Claudia Nsono and William Bahia's reports.
Senegal have won their 4th CAF Beach Soccer Africa Cup of Nations title. The Teranga Lions thrashed the Super Eagles of Nigeria 6-1 on Friday to grab their 4th Africa Beach Soccer Cup of Nations crown. The encounter was a replay of the final of the 2016 tournament, where Senegal thrashed Nigeria by 8-2. Topping a record difficult group on 9 points, the defending champions won Morocco by 7-2 at the semi-finals. Host Egypt beat Morocco 3-2 in a playoff to finish 3rd place in the competition. The 2018 tournament was staged in Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt. Senegal and Nigeria have qualified for the FIFA 2019 Beach Soccer World Cup in Paraguay for the 2nd edition running.
A consolation prize for Nigeria's Super Eagles, who've also qualified for the next Beach Soccer World Cup in Paraguay next year. Now let's talk about the Club World Cup. For the 5th time in a row, there'll be no African team in the quarterfinals after the big disappointment by Esperance in Tunis on Saturday. The African champions were humiliated and eliminated in their first game by the Al Ain Emiratis, who won by a clear 3-0 scoreline. The Tunisians will now have to focus on the Champions League, whose run of 16 finals started last weekend with the first leg, and there were no big surprises. And now to happenings in the other continental club competition, the CAF Cup, where the first leg of the round of 16 was also played over the weekend. Of particular note is the Zamalek card from Cairo, which led to a 7-0 win. The second leg of matches of the 16th round of the Champions League and CAF Cup will be played over the weekend. Also, you should know that the draw for the UEFA Champions League round of 16 was held on Monday. And there were a lot of shocks. The biggest games will undoubtedly be the duel between Bayern Munich and Sadio Mane and Mohamed Salah's Liverpool Reds, and also the ones between Atletico Madrid and Juventus of Turin and Manchester United against Paris Saint-Germain. The reigning European champions Real Madrid will face AFC Ajax. Here's a complete list of the 8 finals of the European Champions League. The round of 16 of the UEFA Champions League begins on February the 12th. And that's how we end the program, which you can find on our website at Africanews.com. But let's continue our talk on football at the addresses currently displayed on your screen. You have a great week and see you next week. Goodbye.
Au revoir.